The Best Ramen in the World by Project Equipment, Chapter 3. It was another new day at Ichimaki Ramen, and Naruto was just getting ready to open up shop. The sun was just rising, and Naruto liked to open up the shop early so that people could enjoy their breakfast in peace. He smiled as he looked at the sign of his shop. He would never have imagined that he would end up becoming anything other than Hokage, but he supposed it was all for the best. If he hadn't gone through all the stuff he did and ended up in Remnant, he wouldn't have met his daughter. After all, he loved his daughter more than anything in his life, along with the Biju. Said daughter was currently bouncing on his shoulders while he was trying to open up the shutter of his shop. Smiling softly at the squirming girl, he tilted his head upwards, and blue eyes met red. Em stopped her bouncing and looked at him intensely. With her doe-like eyes, her own head cocked cocked towards the left, she looked like a kitten, an incredibly adorable kitten. Rolling his eyes at his daughter's antics, he decided to indulge her. "Yes, Em-chan?" "Papa, what you doing?" she asked cutely. Chuckling in amusement, Naruto replied, "Well, M-chan, I'm just checking the newspaper." He pointed towards the shutter. "Look, there's a water section," he said, gesturing towards the shop logo. Emma puffed her cheeks out and glared at him, but it had the opposite effect of making her even cuter. "Maui, mean." Naruto stood up and pried the tiny girl off his shoulders, much to her dismay. He set her down beside him and bent down to unlock the latch of the shutter. "What did you expect, Em, when you asked such an obvious question?" he said with a teasing glint to his eyes, looking down at the embarrassed girl. Even now he was amazed at the size difference between them. She was just a bit taller than his knees, and she was much frailer and thinner than he was. However, the last part was changing since she was under his care. Deciding that he had teased the little girl enough, Naruto gathered Em in his arms and made his way into the shop. There was no one else in the shop, and there would be no one arriving anytime soon. Why waste time and money hiring employees when you can transform Kage Bunshin to do the exact same work for free? He set Emerald down on the counter and thought out the name of the jutsu, Kage Bunshin Henge. This was another advantage that Naruto gained to his immense chakra and experience. He no longer required hand seals or speaking out the name of a jutsu to successfully perform it. It was a huge blessing, in his opinion. Instantly, two clones transformed into Teuchi and Ayame appeared into existence. Naruto relayed their orders via telepathy, and they nodded before setting up shop for the day. "Uwa," he heard M's odd voice in the background. Even after 1 year of living with him, she still got impressed whenever he used one of his techniques. That had been one long conversation, he thought, remembering the day after he had rescued Emma off the streets, seeing no point in hiding when they had already bonded via Ninshu. He told her of his past, though she already had a general idea of it. She had hugged him in an effort to comfort him, which had honestly surprised him at the time. He chalked it up to the power of their bond. He had even introduced her to the Biju, and they had quickly begun to take a liking to little Munchkin. It took some time, but they had warmed up to her, considering her a granddaughter of sorts. He glanced at his odd daughter and ruffled her hair lovingly where a year ago she would have finally lashed out. Now she simply preened and leaned into his palm. That was another change she had seen in the girl, Naruto mused. When he had brought her home and fed her again, she was noticeably more mellow than the regular encounters would have her be. When he had asked her about this, she had simply said, "I trust you, Papa." Critical damage was what he thought after hearing that simple declaration. Naruto theorized that M might have gained an insight into him as a person and saw that she didn't need to act tough around him all the time, that she didn't need to have her defenses up near him, that she could let him inside her heart. That is what she did. The change in her personality might seem sudden to some, but Naruto knew that her angry attitude was just a defense mechanism. It was just like that idiot mask Naruto had adopted in Konoha. If there had been someone in Konoha who was already being good to him, had requested him from certain death, and then proceeded to form a freaking spiritual soul bond with him, Naruto himself would have dropped his mask around that person. Then he didn't know the full intricacies of ninja and he didn't want to find out. Of course, M acted like this only around him. She was still sneaky and distrustful of anyone that wasn't Naruto, which is why she stayed in the back during shop times and she was extremely possessive of him. Oh, and she also started calling him Papa. When asked why, she had something that brought tears to his eyes. Flashback. You take care of me, feed me, and took me in when no one else would. I've always heard that other Papa do the same, so you're Papa, she said and nodded in victory. Naruto was looking at her with wide eyes, not believing that he had someone wanting to stay with him after his decades of loneliness, and was having an internal debate. Then her entire demeanor had changed. She looked away. Her eyes glistened with unshed tears. She was fidgeting in her seat, suddenly appearing nervous. She had looked at him with those puppy eyes of hers and asked in her most timid voice, "Unless you don't want me?" she asked while barely holding back her tears. Naruto had not moved so fast when he fought Kaguya, but the girl could blink. She found herself wrapped in a warm hug. Naruto stroked her hair gently and said, "Sure, M-chan, I'll be your papa." He watched as she relaxed in his arms before she started sobbing. Please don't leave me, Papa. I don't want to go back to those streets. Please let me stay with you. Please, Papa." She was wailing by now. He comforted her, rubbing her back in a slow, soothing manner. In this kind of situation, there was only one thing he could say. "I won't let anyone hurt you, M-chan. It's a promise of a lifetime." Flashback end. After they had their moment, Naruto and Emerald were closer than ever. He also found that their bond gave M a basic understanding of his language. She could not speak complicated words as of yet, but could understand when he did. This helped them both immensely in communication. Since M had nowhere else to go, Naruto had taken her in. She was currently 7 years old and was pretty far behind in her education. He had a clone teacher in their spare time as well as giving her some books to read. M had reasonably caught up in the year she was with him, and she could read and write fluently. As the schooling took place during the day, Naruto often brought her with him to the shop where would study in the back, which is what he was trying to get her to do now. But the clever little thing kept slipping out of his hold. Deciding to adopt a different approach, he placed her on a chair and spoke. "M-chan, you need to study or else you'll never be able to find a job." Glaring in defiance at being told to study, M puffed her cheeks out and replied, "But Papa, I can just work in the shop when I grow up, so I can be with Papa. Yay!" "No yay. You need to study and get a proper education. Many children don't have this chance, Em. You know that, right?" Naruto chided gently. The girl sobered up at this thought. Of course she knew. How could she not? She was one of those kids, after all. If her papa hadn't found her that fateful night, who knows what might have happened to her? Her father had made an excellent point. She couldn't forget her roots, and she would work hard for what she earned. She would be someone her father could proudly call his daughter. Her eyes gained a fierce determination, and she nodded. "I know, Papa. I'll be good." Emerald remembered the day after she had been taken in by her father, the day she asked him to help her become strong. She wanted to learn to fight like her papa so that she would never be weak again. So she had mustered up all the courage she had and asked him to train her. She had seen his cool techniques when he rescued her and wanted to learn them all so she could be the strongest. The world obeyed the strong after all. She had been weak once and she hated it. The crippling fear that even what little she had might get taken away was too daunting for her at times. She had her papa, but he wouldn't always be there. She needed to get stronger so that everyone would obey her. Fully confident in her ideals, she had approached Papa and told him as such, asked him to train her so that she could be the best. His response had been simple, but it shattered all her precon- but it shattered all her preconceptions about strength and weaknesses. Flashback. If we go by that logic, M-chan, I had no reason to take you in, did I? Naruto asked gently. Mere physical strength does not make someone strong, M. It is what you choose to do with your strength that defines you. He looked at her pointedly, and he could tell that she didn't understand. Let me tell you something I lived by, Emerald. The strong protect the weak, not exploit them. The true strength comes from protecting that which is precious to you. M nodded, still trying to comprehend the meaning behind his words. This went against everything she believed in. The strong protected the weak. Then why had no one protected her? Where were the strong ones when she was starving in the streets? She put those angry thoughts aside, instead focusing on the man before her. He was strong, that much she knew. That also meant he was right. Emerald also knew that Naruto was a good person. She understood that much about him from their bond. The bond made her implicitly trust him. All her walls came down crashing around him, but she didn't mind. If this was the way to become strong, she would take it. So she agreed. Okay, Mr. Naruto, I'll do as you say. Now will you please train me? Naruto looked at her. He looked long and hard as if searching for any deceit. He apparently found none as he nodded. Sure, Em, I'll train you. But first we have to build up your body. That means a healthy diet and regular exercise to increase resistance and stamina. He lectured her like a teacher, and after that happens, I'll train you. He trailed off, chuckling menacingly to himself, and M didn't much like his tone at the last part of the sentence. Were his eyes gleaming? Flashback end. From that day, she had been started on a regimen of simple exercise, a morning run, and an unhealthy diet. She had complained about vegetables, but Papa would hear none of it. It was working as she was becoming healthier and reaching the height meant for her age. She would be starting real training soon, and she couldn't wait. She was currently focusing on her education. Speaking of which, Naruto nodded in happiness at his daughters. That's my girl. I'm proud of you. Emerald beamed at the praise before skittering inside to study with a clone. It was only a matter of time before she went to an academy to become a huntress. She wanted to fight the Grim and make sure orphans like her didn't have to suffer again. An admirable goal in Naruto's opinion, and he would support her every step of the way. Come to think of it, I should start looking for a new place to move. Vacchio isn't exactly the best place to be raising a child, and she'll need to go to school soon. Feeling that thought away for later, Naruto went to work preparing for his first customers. It was around lunchtime when the restaurant got busy. Many folks from all around the city came to enjoy a pleasant meal at the establishment. But due to the racism present in the world, some conflicts were bound to happen, like one was happening right now. Get out of my way, filthy animal! An angry voice shouted and caught Naruto's attention. Wiping off his hands, he went outside to investigate. Since all the waiters were reinforced clones, he wouldn't have to worry about the stand being destroyed. He made his way to the main scene area and found that a burly man, probably the one who shouted earlier, was staring down a faunus woman, and they both were glaring at each other. The man's eyes were bloodshot, denoting that he was intoxicated. Great, just what I need, a drunk bigot. Naruto thought in frustration. He just couldn't have a day without any incident. Can't you hear me even with those big ass ears? The goon yelled at the lady. Why they let you out in the world is beyond me. Your kind should be kept in a zoo, dirty pests. The man sneered, and the lady, who appeared to be a dog fauness, was getting a few angry tears in her eyes. This is a fauness-friendly place for your information, she retorted. Read the sign outside, you bigoted idiot. The woman's logic made the man even angry. What do you know about signs? Can you even read? He snarled. As I said, get out of my sight. Can't you see I want to eat, stupid bitch? His last comment brought about gasps from the various customers, both human and faunus. While calling a human a bitch was insulting, calling a faunus any kind of animal-related insult was considered very offensive, and this man had just called a female dog faunus a bitch. It was a very scandalous remark, at least by faunus standards. The man continued, Do you know who I am, animal? I am Franklin Winchester, the head of the Winchester family. This declaration brought about reactions of surprise from the onlookers. The Winchesters were a very prominent family and one of the most elitist and snobbish. However, the fact remained that they had a lot of power, political or otherwise. People generally avoided them due to their status, and the family was known to have a hatred for faunus, and this woman was his target. I just want some food after a long mission, and the only place that was relatively clean was this shitty ramen stand. He yelled, Who even likes these piss poor noodles anyways? Naruto stiffed at this. Oh, he's gone. Shikaku, slightly mad voice cackled in his mind. Naruto nodded in agreement. The discrimination was already over the line, but insulting ramen, unforgivable. Oh yes, he's toast. Naruto agreed. I'm going to completely and systematically destroy this man. Unaware of this inner monologue, Franklin continued to dig his own grave. This place isn't worthy of his presence. It's not even professional here. It's a fucking mess, he shouted, clearly not in his right mind. I saw a little girl running around inside earlier today. Who even keeps kids if they aren't of any use? Just chuck the girl out on the street and be done with it. One Jinchuriki and 9 Bijou were straining themselves from ripping this idiot to shreds. If there were two things you didn't do in front of Naruto, it was insult Ramen or his family. This fool had done both in quick succession. It was then that Naruto decided to be extra sadistic in dealing with this man. Earlier he was just planning on beating the crap out of Franklin, but now that wouldn't be enough. It was time to let out the prankster king of hell. Though the prank would be more like bringing the idiot's whole life crashing down around him. Kitten, please destroy this man, Matatabi purred in his mind. She, along with Kakuo, had taken an express liking to Emerald, and their motherly instincts were acting up. This man needed to pay. I will, but I can't kill him. It attract too much attention if such a powerful man ended up dead inside my stand. Naruto then grinned maniacally, but don't worry, I have just the thing. Meanwhile, in the real world, Winchester was sparing no expense in berating the faunus, insulting every part of her character and being. The slurs seemed to have their desired effect, as the faunus woman was almost reduced to tears. Naruto could sympathize with her, though he probably had it worse than the woman did. The man, however, was not deterred. Seeing as the shocked woman wanted to move out of his path, he raised his hand to strike her. The crowd watched with disgust, but no one had the guts to step in. The man's hand descended, but it never hit the woman. The Winchester wondered what had stopped his hand from striking the bitch. When he saw the shop's owner gripping his wrist tightly, the man tried to wrest his hand free, but the blonde had an iron grip. Being a drunk as he was, the man didn't fully comprehend the situation and tried to strike the owner with his other arm. But to the surprise of the other customers, he suddenly froze in place. What had happened was that the drunk had made the mistake of looking into Naruto's eyes. He could have sworn that those icy blue eyes flashed red for a moment. Just before his hand struck, he heard a faint whisper, Genjutsu Sharingan. The man suddenly lost all force in his attack, stood up straight, and turned towards the faunus woman, who flinched at his gaze. He bowed down to his waist and spoke in a loud voice. "Everyone, please record this on your scrolls. I would like to issue a formal apology in the name of the Winchester family." The bystanders were dumbfounded and did just that. The whole spectacle had attracted a lot of attention, and people outside the stand were crowding around to watch. They all wanted to see what would happen next. In a corner, Naruto's eyes twinkled with sadistic glee. Seeing as everyone recorded him, Franklin continued, "I would like to humbly apologize to..." He trailed off, looking at the dog Faunus, a woman he was insulting, Amy. The woman squeaked out, clearing his throat. He continued, "Yes, Miss Amy, in the name of the Winchester family, I would like to apologize for being a colossal asshole. I am very drunk, but still very much an asshole." The crowd watched with wide eyes, Amy included, as the man admitted to his faults, but he wasn't finished, not by a long shot. "I am a small, weak little man who likes to belittle others for my own amusement. Our entire family is like that, actually. My wife is a haughty snob, and my son Cardin is an arrogant little shit. We hate faunus and regularly oppress them for kicks." The crowd eyes were bugging out of their sockets. Just what the hell was happening? "The majority of our estate has been stolen from faunus. Farmers who we coerced into giving up their lands," Franklin said. "We don't pay the servants at our estate, and we have committed numerous frauds and crimes. There is a ledger in my study in our mansion which details all of my transgressions. I am fed up of being a stupid, elitist bastard, and so I am confessing to my crimes. I implore the police to seize all of our assets, even though there is no evidence of them being illegal. I can assure you that they are all stolen. I just covered my track well. I hope to go to jail like the worthless piece of shit I am," he finished. Silence. Total silence followed the man's confession, which was just recorded by over 100 separate scrolls. Franklin didn't even look back. He just walked away. The very next day, a massive scandal would erupt, which would result in the disgrace of the Winchester house. The man would go to jail, whereas his wife and child would be forced to live in an apartment with what little they had left. "That's what you get for insulting both Ramen and M, you bastard," Naruto thought in glee. Naruto had merely made the man confess to all his crimes, albeit suddenly. The man ruined himself without any extra effort on Naruto's part. "Naruto, that was diabolical. Well done," Kurama complimented from within his mind. Naruto nodded in satisfaction as the crowd cleared out. The lady, Amy, stood there for a little longer with a shocked expression. Eventually, she too paid for her meal and left. Seeing as it was still about 3 in the afternoon, Naruto decided to go and check on Emerald, making a clone to finish preparing the order. He went inside. He looked on with a barely concealed deadpan as the scene played out before her. There was his clone, somehow wearing glasses and with a wooden pointer in hand, pointing at a blackboard. On the other side of the room was his little girl, and she had the cutest focused expression he had ever seen. Hi, who can tell me what sound a sloth makes?" the clone asked, teaching Emerald various animals and their calls. "What else would you teach a 7-year-old girl?" "Oh, me, Anne declared, raising her small hand up and bouncing in place. The clone seemed to think about who to ask among the many students in his class. Eventually, his gaze settled on M. How about you, M-chan?" the clone finished, pointing to the little girl. M perked up, and just as she was about to answer, she stopped. "What does a sloth make anyway?" she asked, the while tilting her head, her previous enthusiasm replaced with curiosity. The clone put a finger on his chin and seemed to ponder the question, but eventually gave up and shrugged. At this point, Naruto decided to interject. "What's happening here?" No sooner had he spoken those words than a green bullet tackled him. "Papa!" Em squealed happily. Naruto hugged her back, smiling softly down at her. "How's it going, Em? What did you learn today?" Emerald mulled over it, decided how to answer. I learned to count to 1,000, and also animal sounds, she exclaimed excitedly. He was glad the clone could teach adequately. Well, keep it up, Emerald, and I'll give you a surprise later today, okay? Yay, Papa, it's the best. Oof, my aching heart. The Naruto, as he was once again overcome by the sheer moe that was his little girl. Naruto patted her head softly, which earned him a pleased hum from the girl. I'll leave you to it then. Be good, you hear? Yes, Papa. Chuckling to himself, Naruto went back to his kitchen. He started working on the next order, but then he felt something which made him freeze in his tracks. It was an old Horizon marker, one he gave out 2 years ago, and he remembered very clearly to whom he had given it to. Summer-chan, he thought in worry, recalling the bubbly girl from 2 years ago. She's in trouble. I must go quickly, and with that thought, Naruto created a clone for him and vanished in a flash of orange.